to welcome to the stage our wonderful guest today. We're going to call Luka, who's Vicky Krieps. Tom Waits. And Jarmusch. And you can hear someone is coming from the special green door. Adam Driver. And I think Indya is joining us as soon as she's out of traffic.
Stuck in traffic.
It's New York City. Maybe I can ask. Sorry, I can't see people very well. Can I ask first question to you, Jim, about the writing process for this work particularly? It's a triptych, so I assume you wrote 3 stories separately, knowing they would connect. But did you have a particular way of thinking about each when you were writing, or they will connect later, or not connect?
I always have a kind of haphazard way of writing where I'm gathering small ideas that I don't quite know the overall structure or picture yet. And I write thinking of actors I would like to collaborate with on these characters. So I started, the first thing I thought was, it'd be cool to make a film with Tom Waits and Adam Driver's father. And really that's where it started, and while writing that story, and then Mayim Bialik is she was a host on Jeopardy, and I'm a kind of Jeopardy nerd, and I hadn't really seen her acting. TV, she's a famous TV actor, right? But I just thought, oh wow, that Jeopardy host kind of character could be close to the sister. And then while kind of thinking about that, I started thinking about the mother story, and Kate and Vicky. And then, so they all kind of happen, I gather them sort of all the details, and then I write really fast, like a month. But it's hard, I can't exactly tell you how it works, because it's really collecting disparate ideas that I don't quite know the overall connect the dots picture yet. So that's my kind of non-answer.
It's an answer.
It's the way I do it.
Yeah, it's a creative process, and it's always interesting to see how it gets connected from the writing to the filming. But obviously the cast is a very important part of these 3 stories.
Yes, and I'd worked with everybody before except never with Charlotte Rampling, and I had not worked with Vicky, but I was a fan. So I wrote for all these actors, and Luka and Indya, I had worked with both before, and I wrote it all for these actors. So then I had to trick them into doing it, but I was successful.
What do you mean you trick them?
Well, because it's sort of presumptuous to write for someone and then not know it. And then if they don't want to do it, it's kind of a disaster and I have to rethink it. But that rarely has happened, so I've been very lucky.
Tom, would you like to mention how you were tricked into doing that part? And I mean, you've obviously worked together before. It's been a few years since the last movies. But how was it to work again on this film after you were tricked?
Not sure of the question there, but I'll still try to answer it. Well, yeah, Jim and I have done a lot of pictures together, so I don't know where it is that I contribute genuinely, but I do bring something of myself to it, which is really what you're supposed to do. But I had a good time. I got a brothel early in the morning. Saying that's the only thing I'd like to correct in the future. I had a good time. Yeah, it was great. It was almost effortless.
You worked with Jim before, but playing the son of Tom Waits was probably something maybe you never imagined it would happen. Can you talk about the work on this film and what happened when you met Tom and working on the set?
We had met briefly on the Dead Don't Die, and then yeah, for me Jim is just he's anytime he calls about anything I'm in, you know, regardless of what it is, if it's there would be wallpaper, I'd be interested in doing that. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. He's one of my favorite people. So that, to me, there's no question. And the cast, you know, to do it with Tom, he's incredible. He's an amazing actor. Mayim, I didn't know at all. She was great. The writing is always great. Jim is very particular about what's in the frame, so you come very knowing that someone's paying attention and there's no detail that's too small. And it all is worth it, and it makes it in. So you know, he is for me, you know, the great filmmakers of all time. So I'm always in, and the casts are always good. So it's not much to think about.
Well, I could say, oh, I have money for that. And
I have many questions, but that's not the first part that you shot, I believe. Even though it's the first one you see in the film, but you shot the American parts.
we were all set to shoot shoot them in order, and we had a very unfortunate situation I won't go into with IATSE, and one local IATSE person fucked us and shut down our film. I lost a lot of money and then had to move the production to shoot first in Ireland, then come back and shoot in the US, and then go back and shoot. So I have a very bad feeling still from this. It was very unfortunate, and my next film I'm not shooting in the US, partly for this kind of reason. And I'm not anti-union, believe me. I'm in the Guild. I used to be in the United Sheet Metal and Aircraft Workers Union, which paved my way to Columbia, etc. So it's not like it's just a particular thing that was not kind of crushed a handmade film that I resent. So there, I said it.
But you were ready then to shoot in Ireland with Vicky, Charlotte, and Kate.
Yes, we shot that
quite
first.
fast. Or were you able to do this really fast when the first part was shut down?
Oh yeah, we had to go to Ireland to do all our preparation there for that shoot, as we did for each of the chapters. We had like a week or two of prep and then like 2 weeks to shoot, or 10 days maybe. So yes, we had an excellent crew in Ireland and part of our French crew, Indya.
It's okay.
Oh, I took it.
I thought-
Thank you so much.
I wanted to go into Vicky since we were just on part 2, which was shot first. But I wanted to hear from Vicky about working on set, working with Jim since it was your first one. And I think you're the only one who's representing part 2.
Yeah. I never really know what we talk about when we talk about making films. Like you said, we wake up early, and then we make a film. And I think what was very special with working with Jim, aside that he is also my all-time hero, and you know, I cannot even start telling you how what it means for someone like me to be asked by Jim Jarmusch to be in his movie. But making the film was in the best way like we used to make films when we were 15. And I think this is maybe the recipe to making a good film, is when you are so honest that you know that making a film is just making a film, but it's also everything else, and it's very, very difficult. But to make a film like a student or like a child means that you honestly try to take in everything that is really there in the moment when you are there. And I think that's what Jim is doing. He's not trying to turn it into science or make it like a thing or the next film of his own. It's just a film, and by being just a film, it becomes everything for everyone. And it leaves the ego, and it leaves the signature. And, you know, it becomes music and poetry at the same time as it is a film. And I think making the film felt like that.
Let's go to the Paris story with Luka maybe first, working on the film, right? And then we'll go to India.
It's really, Jim creates such like a great work environment, you know, and he's particular without like being like arrogant or mean in any sort of way. And he really knows how to communicate his ideas, and I feel like as an actor it's so helpful to be with somebody who really knows what they want and knows how to communicate their ideas, you know? And I don't know, for me it was so awesome. I've always wanted to be an actor, and I grew up watching his films, and I actually I grew up in Paris, and I had moved to New York to become an actor, and then like my first big time movie, I got to shoot it back in Paris with like one of my favorite directors, so I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome. But I was just so grateful to, you know, even be trusted to, you know, with this script and his ideas, and then like being on screen with Indya, who was just like really, really, really such a joy to work with, and building this like brother-sister connection in real time, often on the screen, was really, really, really special.
I love you, Luka.
Love you too.
I guess I want to really piggyback off of Vicky and Luka. You know, like so much of what they said was an emphasis on like the sincerity of the space and the environment that Jim had built around us. But I think, like, you know, first of all, thank you so much for trusting me, Jim. I really appreciate it. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for having me. I got to do my best work on Jim's film. It was my best work because all of the years of experience that I've had come up to that moment, and the discipline that I learned to acquire. I got to really, really fill out my space on set to really, really embody this character. But when it comes to my instrument as an artist, what I find is that I'm able to provide the most sincere reflection of whatever human experience I'm reflecting as an actor when the environment supports that. And I think oftentimes, you know, when you approach art from a corporate capacity, it's very easy to forget about the needs of the artist, the humanity of the space, the compassion, the respect that is necessary for everyone, from 1 to 110, up to the bottom of the call sheet. And I think that a lot of people in power sometimes, when it comes to creating, they get caught up in controlling the environment. And they lose track of what it means to take care. And I think what Jim did, he curated a safe space through his intention to bring out the best of our humanity in this world. I felt respected. There was food. People were kind. I made so many friends. Everyone's really easy. You know, I'm also very vocal. I'm a very vocal artist. You know, I don't just tell people stories on screen. I talk about them in real life. And I think that for some reason that scares people. And so, for me, I don't compartmentalize humanity outside of my work or in it. As an actor, you have to understand how they come together in their relationship to it. But in order to be able to be in a space in your body where you can explore that, those connections, you have to have the support of a wonderful person who's empowered like Jim, you know? And it really, really matters. Nobody wants to work on set feeling like they're afraid to piss someone off. You know, you can't be in a space working out of a place of fear. It's not where our best work comes from. It actually comes from love. It comes from respect, and it comes from encouragement. And so I want to, you know, provide emphasis on what the environment that I had the privilege to work in with Jim and Luka, because these kinds of environments are exactly what set artists up to do their best work on and off screen. Luka, I'm trans. Men aren't always comfortable showing me affection. And I feel it. I feel it. It's very unnerving when it happens because I forget. You know, I forget that I'm trans sometimes, and other people don't. So I was just awkward and worried about what it would be like to receive the affection from someone like Luka within the container of a sibling relationship. My experience growing up with my siblings was very different than the narrative that we built around our relationship as siblings. And that was healing to me. It was healing to me. It gave me something to bring back home to my brother. And if your work as an artist, I only want to do work as an artist that affects me in my life in this way. I want to be changed by the work that I do. And I gotta tell you, working on set with Jim, coming out with another brother, it was better than ceremony. It was better than that ayahuasca trip, you know, wherever we went on, probably was. It was so good because it was true. And in telling a story about family, masking and unmasking, and what does it mean to be sincere, and what do you get out of that in the relationships when you show up with truth? It's risky, but you never know what other people have inside of them that they need so badly to be reflected in the person in front of them, to feel like they're enough. And I got to experience that on set with everyone that I got to work with, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, John.
And not just that, you are remarkable, and what a gift to work with all of you guys and our crew. You know, we work very, very focused, and we were very focused and worked very, very hard. But all of our crew were treated equally, and we don't have a kind of hierarchy. And so we have a certain feeling on set that's very important to me, where everyone is of equal importance. We don't interfere in each other's jobs, but we were very focused and we worked very hard. And this film, I would go back to the hotel sometimes exhausted by, I'll tell you, it's a lot more complicated to be studying someone's slight gestures and their eyelids, etc., than having 12 zombies come out of the graves. You know? That's easy. So all these details, and the film was constructed very, very carefully to accumulate as three movements in one piece of music, you know? So thanks to everyone who collaborated on this film, that's why our feeling of shooting was good and positive and very focused, you know. We worked really hard. But hats off to everyone who helped make this film.
And special shout out to YSL and Anthony and them for supporting us, you know. They really, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have met Jim.
That's right, because we met working on a short film for Saint Laurent some years ago. And they asked me to make a short, sort of surrealist film, anything I wanted, and we did. And we worked together with Chloe Sevigny, Charlotte Gainsbourg, and Julianne Moore, and we had fun making that little film together. That's where we met.
Tell them what it was about.
It's about French water. It's called French water.
I will ask one other question to you, which was your relationship also with your cinematographer, because you worked with Fred Helms and Vicky Krieps.
Yes.
So, but you know, you have a great relationship with your DPs, and the way you film is also something that's crucial in your work process, as well as making sure the actors are fed. I think it's also important to have amazing cinematography. Can you say briefly, like, why you decided to work on Fred on one and then Yorick, or if it was?
Yes, I had the great pleasure of again working with Fred Helms, who I've worked with for many years, master cinematographer, and then working with Yorick who I've now worked with a number of times, and we shot Only Lovers Left Alive, etc. And yeah, they are both such incredible gifts to collaborate with. I'm very particular about setups and the composition of every shot and how they work together. But at the same time, having said that, we keep a kind of looseness, no storyboard. We make a shot list in advance, and then on the day of shooting, we throw it away. And now we're thinking on our feet, now we're going to shoot this scene. So we had some ideas, but we're not tied to them. So we're always inventing and, you know, kind of creating it as we go in a certain way. And yeah, what a gift to work with both those guys, Fred and Yuri. Kind of just such an important collaboration, of course. So I'm really so proud to work together with them.
I know there's a lot of questions from the audience, so I will not be selfish, and I will. Sarah, you pick and you let us know.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. My name is Rachel Shaw. I am a senior at Columbia, and I just have a question for Jim about just like the filmmaking process and being at this stage, because I think it's such an interesting point where, you know, you're after the fact, the film is created, it's shipped off, it's being screened, and like how at this stage you feel looking back at it, how you feel whenever you have a creative project that is finished, and the process of moving forward with your work in the aftermath of making such a thing.
Well, I work really, really hard and give it all I have, and then once I've seen it, we presented the film in Venice at the film festival, and we present it here. And after that, I will see it one time more with a paying audience that doesn't know I'm there, and then I will never see it again. I do this with all my films. I don't like looking back because we work really, really hard, and you can't change them later. And I always follow the French poet Paul Weller. He said, a poem is never finished, only abandoned. And you could edit forever and ever, so I really try to focus. I work with Alfonso Gonsalves, the master editor, and and Bob Hine, sound designer, you know, so once the film is finished, and I've seen it a couple times, then I'm finished and I'm looking toward the next one. But not everyone's that way. It's just healthier for me. I don't like looking back, but I'm very proud of what we did. But now I'm looking forward.
You think people don't know when you're in the audience?
No, I make sure I sit in the back or I wear a hoodie or something.
There's more signing of Jim Jarmusch around the world than anything else.
Well, you know, I try to hide in the back.
Question?
Good morning. Congratulations for such a great film. I have always been a fan of your work. This question is for Jim. Though there was a comic tone to the narrative, I felt that it was really deeply sad, because for me it was a meditation on how families are broken or distant and lonely and maybe secretive for themselves. They're not comfortable enough to open up about themselves to their own relatives, in this case mother, father, sisters. I wonder if this was your intention to depict, to bring this an awareness about family disconnection maybe. And also I'm very intrigued about if you can rapidly comment about the elements of water, the shoots in the car, and I guess that's it, if you can tell us a little. I was very interested about the element of water appearing in every segment of the film. Thank you.
That's a lot of questions. Thank you. First was just about, what was the first part of the question? Yeah, you know, I wasn't really setting out with an intention. The film, I didn't want it to really say anything. I wanted it to observe people that are flawed without judging them. The thing about a balance between sadness and humor was important to me, to sort of allow them both to exist in the film. But it's an odd film because it's very quiet and it doesn't employ drama, violence, action, sex. You know, almost none of the things you expect, it's not giving you that. So I was just interested in empathetic observation, really. And as far as families, they are very complicated, and I thought it was interesting thinking about it. And again, it's not a big analytical thing a starting point, but more after finishing the film, I thought a lot about how parents they're not upfront with their children for a number of reasons. Either they want to be guides for them, or they don't want to reveal certain mistakes they've made, or they want to be a kind of role model, or there are a lot of reasons why they're not really that maybe upfront about who they are, and I found that interesting. But yeah, and okay, water. I don't know, I'm sort of obsessed with water. In my last few films, water is the essence of everything of life on this planet. And I did an indigenous girl I was talking to some years ago, we were drinking water, and she referred to it as medicine. And it's the essence of everything, water. And yesterday, I met a water sommelier. I never knew they existed. She was cool. Anyway, yeah, water is very important to me. I don't know. I love water. It's my favorite drink. And what else was there? I have water, yes. I usually travel with water. I like swimming, too.
Hi, Harlan Jacobson from WBGO Radio. It's a jazz station and NPR affiliate that broadcasts to the metropolitan New York area. My question to you, Jim, well, first, I love the way you visually and narratively knit these three chapters together. But my question to you is that the current administration plans to put a tariff on overseas production. So I wonder, how would that affect you for this production? How would it affect you going forward? And do you have any sense that in the filmmaking community there are discussions about how to lobby and present a different case against tariffs?
Well, I have no clue how to react to that tariff idea. I really don't understand it, so I don't. And hello, Harlan. We go way back, actually. It's good to see you. But I don't know what to think about that. I don't know what that even will mean for films. And I don't really understand. To me, the tariff thing seems from the outside to be a way to let the stock market drop and then profit off it when it comes up. I don't see any other, this is like kleptocracy we're in the midst of. And it's really 4 words, all they should say on the news, all they should say is that they're stealing your money. Everything they do. So this tariff thing, I don't know how to address that. I don't know what to think. My next film I'm preparing will be not shot in the US, so I don't know how it will affect. I have no clue. I don't know what anything means that comes from this administration. I have no idea how to respond to that. I'm just going to make what I make and worry about, that's really kind of not my problem.
We have time for one more.
Hi. Curious about maybe the desire, the impulse to kind of stop stories when they're not just getting interesting. Obviously, they're interesting as they're unfolding, but like specifically with the father segment, we see that he's a complete scam artist, and then that's the end of the journey. We see we kind of, I don't know, my one part of my brain is like, I want to see what this punk rock sister goes on to, and what bar or restaurant this father is going to, and what life looks like for them when they're not with their family and trying to posture as somebody else. So I'm curious about the impulse to stop there. Maybe you have no desire to go into it and that is the end of the story, or just just if you could talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's interesting because I never like in any of my films, I don't like the end to be, and rarely, there are a few instances where it's like a curtain drawn and this is the end. Dead Man and Ghost Dog maybe being exceptions. But I don't like to leave, I don't like the characters to be gone, and so I never really think the endings are really the end. And in this case, it's very carefully constructed, a cumulative film with 3 sections. So where they end for me was the point to move to the next movement of a piece of music. So, but I'm happy you say that. I too would like to see where did he go for the restaurant, and what was the rest of the evening like, and what happened to the kids when they went home and told that, talked about seeing their father, so I like imagining what would happen after the fact, but it wasn't part of my conception as putting it on the screen, so.
I wish we had more time to talk now, but you'll be back tonight for the centerpiece presentation at the festival. I meet a warring audience. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you. But I just have to say thank you to the New York Film Festival, which is like my religion. It's like going to church for me. It's such a fantastic thing, and part of New York, And thank you. This cast, it was just incredible to work with. And they all work in different ways. It's not all one way to work together. We found our way, each of us, together, and so generous and attentive and beautiful to get to work with all of them. So I am really indebted to them because they embody some silly thing, I imagine, and then I get to create it with this collaboration with these incredible people. So thanks to you guys, man. Thank you. No, some water.
I'm following you.